Welcome into Rounding the Bases.
Round the bases. Everybody knows Joel Goldberg. It's around the bases. Everybody knows Joel Goldberg.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rounding the Bases, presented by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. I'm watching my guest behind the scenes in the virtual green room. And I always like when you have a musician on because I see them kind of bopping to the theme song. He's got his own song that he is recognized for. It's not his own, but it's a very famous one, and we'll get into that in just a moment. This release, if you're catching it on release day, is a day early by design. We always release on Tuesdays, but today, on the release day, it is Veterans Day, and so that is certainly a theme of this show. Quick shout out to my friends at Chief of Staff Kansas City. Whether you're in Kansas City, whether you're anywhere around the country for that matter, and if you're looking for a resource in finding a job, in hiring someone, these guys get it. They've got an amazing office, the culture. There's a reason why I partner with them, and I love to let everybody know about Chief of Staff Kansas City. chiefofstaffkc.com, making connections that matter. Although I would say that my connection today is one that I've known for well before I knew my friends at Chief of Staff, well before I got to Kansas City, and I'll expand on that in a moment. I'm joined today by an award-winning gospel artist who has been enthralling sports fans across our nation for 25 years and counting. His name is Generald Wilson, the retired U.S. Navy Petty Officer First Class, whose powerhouse vocals have made him one of the most sought-after anthem singers in the country, known for his high-octane renditions, and I'll tell you what, the goosebumps when you hear him sing. High-octane renditions of patriotic classics like the Star-Spangled Banner and God Bless America. His real gift is something bigger than the song. It's the way he unites the masses, making us all proud to be Americans. If you are unfamiliar with his work, just sit back and enjoy this beautiful rendition here on Veterans Day.
Now performing our national anthem, please welcome Navy veteran Generald Wilson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, General.
It's not yet any better than that. Although I'm curious as I'm watching my guest and a man I've known for a long time, back to probably 25 years ago in St. Louis, Generald Wilson. And I'm curious as he joins me now, wearing his Chiefs gear. He sings a lot of Chiefs and Royals and all over the country for that matter too. That's actually, I pulled that one, that version. That's a little bit of a different version, I think, than I've heard you sing often too. Just I know when I get the goosebumps and all of that. I'm curious what you think when you watch yourself or hear yourself sing. All of us that are, in front of a camera sometimes can be a little bit weird about it. What about for you?
Yeah, I always. First of all, what's going on, Joe?
Hi, what's up, Gennaro?
Listen, man. When you listen to, it's an honor to be here.
It's an
I
honor to
really
have you.
appreciate it. But when you listen to yourself, I don't have a problem listening to myself because I always listen and say, "Oh, why did I do that? Oh my goodness, I could do better doing that." It's never a perfect anthem or a perfect
Mm,
God Bless America for me. Never. If I hear it, it's like I could do better with inflection. I can do better
mm.
with forming my words. I can do better with tone so that the people can actually get a better feel for the song and sing along with me.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. In this rendition that you just played is a good story. It was very windy. That was number one. Number two is,
You're gonna tell me I didn't pick the best one.
yeah, well, it's all good. It was very windy. And then I also don't really warm up. I never warm up my vocals,
Interesting.
right? And I had the note ready for me to sing it because you have to start the national anthem off on the right note, or you can't go back and try to correct if you
Mm,
start too high. And there's a part in the song, this, I guess you could say my signature part, where I go up
mhm.
on the song. Like the part goes, uh, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
You didn't do that on
All
this
right,
one.
I'm letting you know a little secret.
Yeah.
Keep putting you in on a little secret here. I didn't do that on this part. You know why? Because I started the song too high.
Wow. Because
Yeah.
I'll 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 yell at myself for just grabbing one. There's so many out
No,
there,
no,
and I
no.
grabbed that one. No,
It's
the only reason why
cool.
I say it is that, like, I do think that one of your signatures is I don't know how to describe it. The spot that you just sang, that where you go up high like that.
Mm-hmm. Did I
That's
flex? Did I
I get the
say again?
goosebumps on that. I get the goosebumps on that.
Well, you have to find that the part of the song that means a lot. That our flag was still there. That's woo. That's a good
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's a few parts in that song that you just want to emphasize because it's so great that it happened, and we're here because of that happening. So it's just that version right there. It's okay that you played it because the secret is a lot of people don't know how to maneuver when they're in that spot. If they start off too high, then it's like I got to stay right. I can't do my normal stuff.
Mm.
I'm just going to keep it playing because it's not about me trying to hit these notes and stuff like that. It's about getting the song the song to where people can sing along with you and bring you unity. You know what I mean? So my main motto when it comes to the national anthem and God Bless America is it's not about performance. It's not about entertainment. Some people do, some people, that's what this is my moment. Let me go out here and just give them everything I got and do runs and riffs. That's fine too. But what that does is it makes people in the audience just look at you. They can't sing along with you. So they're looking at you, they're
Mm.
spectating, and they're saying, "Ooh, that was great." But they can't sing with you. So my point is, I don't take it as entertainment. I don't take it as a performance. Every time I sing it, it's to bring about unity. And the only way that you can bring about unity is you sing it as close as you can to the original
Yeah.
so that people don't be thrown off by all your runs and riffs. I may hold a note here or I may go up, like I said, that our flag was still there. When I do that, people still know, oh, this is cool. They could still go that our flag was still there. They could stay down while I'm up and it's still harmony.
Yeah.
You know
But I
what I'm
also
saying?
think
So
it gives them a chance to sort of celebrate a little bit too. Like, while you're holding that note, it's almost like a flyover. You're holding that
mhm.
note and they get a chance to really appreciate, and I know you're not looking for the applause for yourself necessarily, but they get a chance to sort of bask in that moment as you're
Yeah.
holding that note. That's the one that I didn't call up, because to me that's just the moment when the flag was still there. I really should not be doing this at all. And I can hear my editor Colleen saying, "Stop singing, Joel. Stop singing, Joel." But or what?
or the part where it goes, "Oh, say does it star spangled banner yet wave?" That is because it's still waving. I mean, come on, man. You're gonna get me emotional over here, man. I mean, like being in my Navy uniform, serving for 21 years. That song means a lot, along with "God Bless America," because "God Bless America," people don't understand, is more of a prayer being prayed through song. It's a prayer through song. If you just look at the lyrics or listen to the lyrics, it's you praying for our country.
Yeah. Man, I want to tie this all together because so much of what happens in those 2 minutes is everything that you're about. You're a man of faith, gospel, the church. You served our country. You're an artist and a singer, and you get to pull all of that together. And I know you've done it thousands of times, but what are your emotions like?
I gotta tell you, when it's something going on in America, for instance, I'll give you 9/11. I don't know if you may want to look at that clip. I don't know if it said 9/11. It was the year after 9/11 where I was with the St. Louis Rams, down at the Dome. And it was a big to-do, like they all across the NFL, we sung at the same time, but they focused the national television broadcast on the Rams. So I was the one that was singing the anthem for the nation, even though we all were singing together. So everything was the same, even the Jumbotron where I forgot, was it Robert De Niro? I don't know who it was, but they talked and they said something, and it was for 9/11. And I mean, that was the most emotional national anthem that I've had, where I kind of pounded my head at the end instead of saluting, and tears. It was like emotional. So it depends on, well, it's America, period. That's number one. You're singing for America. You served for America. And I still serve. I work for the VA right now. It's been 15 years with them after I did my 21 years in the Navy. So I'm still serving. I still have to have a serving heart, So, but just with America in itself and the different things that's going on with it, everybody knows we're not where we should be. Thank God we're not where we were, and we don't want to go back. But we do have different things that are good. If you have ever been overseas, you would appreciate the United States. Believe me, some people haven't been overseas, so they don't understand the liberties that we do have, the freedoms that we do have. So when I sing that song, it's from the heart, and I think that's what people feel when I sing it. If you don't sing it from the heart and you just entertaining and performing the song and you never lived it, it's just like a love song. You sing a love song, you really don't mean it. The person on the other end, the female, she'll be like, "Oh, that was nice." But if you really into it and you just like, oh, and you feel that love for her, she's gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna be like, "Come here for a minute."
See, it all ties together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
sir.
look, I mean, we all have different tastes, of course. For me personally, like, it drives me nuts when someone tries to quote unquote reinvent the song. But I understand, like, it might be their one moment. I think one of the beauties of you is not just that you're so polished and done this for so long, but you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You know how to do this, and you know it works. And sometimes if it's that one person's one shot, I feel like when I sit there and I hear an anthem at a game, and I hear it every night, and it's a 3-minute version when it can be a minute and a half, and it just sort of loses its luster. Sometimes the reason why I like the the saxophone player that comes out, or even the high school marching band, is the simplicity to it. I'm not
That's
a music
it.
guy. I just am a consumer. So I just know it moves me. And I also understand that different pieces of music move different people. But I want to go backwards a little bit here, because I want to get all the background and how you got here and your backstory in a moment. But let's just not out of the gate. We've been talking about our beautiful anthem for a while, but it's Veterans Day. The trick, I think, but it's good. It takes us off the hook. The trick is that we're recording this about 4 days before Election Day, and I have no idea, as this is released, if we'll have a president, if the world will be if our country is going to be safer, better, like that's unfortunately the world that we live in, which takes us off the hook, because I don't do a politics show anyway. And I believe, at least while I have my very strong viewpoints, I believe that sports unites us. I believe that anthem unites us. And my guess is that as we have sporting events going forward post-election, we're going to need some of that uniting of us. And I'm optimistic, a little bit optimistic and hopeful that that'll happen. But I'm curious just about the power of unity. It's something you certainly see in the church. It is something, I mean, look, as a Jewish guy that doesn't go to church, I've been in churches before. I had a friend of mine take me to a church service here on a Sunday in Kansas City at a black church, and if I couldn't walk out of there feeling a little something more and being moved, I was better for it. We all need to find those common bonds, and I'm wondering what you feel in that responsibility of knowing that at least for a couple of minutes, you have a chance to bring people together.
It's very, very important. Very important. A couple of minutes is too long, though. You got to do a minute and a half. That's what they tell me every time I'm on the field.
Yeah.
So that internal beat. I mean, like, I'm not a Grammy Award winner, so I can't do 3 minutes. I can't do. I have to do what they tell me. I've been doing it for a little over 26 years now, but I am not a Grammy Award winner, so I got to do it at minute and a half. But in that minute and a half, it is very important. I'm a worship leader as well in my church, and I've been a worship leader for 20 some odd years. And the fact and this is what I tell people. I just met a young lady. I don't want to go off kilter here, but I met a young lady at Red Robin's, and she was about 10 years old, and her mom, and she liked my jersey I had on. I had a Kansas City jersey on, and she says, "Oh, I like your jersey." And I said, "Oh, thank you." She said, "Where did you get it from?" I said, "Actually, the Chiefs gave it to me." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yes, I do the anthem." And she's like, "I sing the anthem." So I talked to them, and she sung the anthem for the Blues and the city, but I had an opportunity to sit with her and tell her about unity. I had an opportunity to tell her about try not to do performance and try not to be an entertainer, and sing it to where you can bring about unity. It's very important that we bring about. That's what I believe my voice is for. My voice is not to compete against anyone. That's why I never did American Idol. I never did The Voice, even though I've been invited many times. I don't want to compete against anybody, so I believe my voice is for encouragement and unity. And when it comes to the national anthem and God Bless America, it's pretty much unity. Now, I will say this, because if you look on my post on my social media, you will know my views on unity in the church. It's not happening right now, and the church is divided. And I'm saying that to you now so that you don't just think that in churches there's unity. Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be. Yeah. However, they still have their different beliefs when it comes to the presidential candidacy election time. That's when you start seeing some people going this way and some people going that way. Well, let me tell you, Joe, you're a good friend. I love you dearly. If you vote opposite of me, I'm still going to love you dearly. It doesn't matter to me what you vote. You know what I'm saying? That's just another part of our differences. We're not the same person. You may feel like one agenda is more important than another agenda. I may think the one that you don't think that is important, I may think it's important. So I may vote differently, but that's not going to change my love for you. It's not going to change our friendship. And that's what's happening right now in the church, where people are name calling and doing different things
Yeah.
like that. And I'm just like, nah, man, where's the love? We're supposed to still love everyone, you know? So that's my little post is trying to bring about unity. I'm trying to post and say, hey, guys, get back to it. Stop all the bickering, stop all the name calling. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to love. So unity is very, very, very important to me. And I told the young lady this. I said, when you get the audience to sing the song with you, you've done what you're supposed to do. And that's how it
Mm.
is in church as a worship leader, too. I don't want you just looking at me. If I look out there and you have your hands lifted and you're looking up towards heaven and you're singing the same song lyrics that I'm singing, that makes me feel good that I've done what I was supposed to do. Same way when it comes to the national anthem, God Bless America. Just hearing the blues, I did the blues, and they started that some years ago, and they had me start it off, let the audience come in, and I end it. That was the best feeling ever just to hear. I don't know how many thousands of people in there
Yeah, 18,
sing
20,000.
together
Yeah.
in unity. But for that minute and a half, they put away their differences and they sung our song. That's amazing to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning, where you obviously served, still serving, but actively served in the Navy. And were you singing back then? I mean, how did, what, were you like that 4-year-old kid that was singing in church? When did you know that singing uh, at the level that you're singing now was a possibility? And take me through the steps of deciding to serve in the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 years old is when I started singing. I know you hear that all the time. People, yeah, I started singing when I was 5. Yeah, but in my case, it is totally true. I was singing for real at 5 years old. When I say for real, that means I was leading lead songs with an adult choir behind me at 5 years old in front of people, you know, and it was always bigger churches. So it was like God was preparing me for today, you know, like as you grow up, I want you to sing in front of people. I'm just
Mm.
singing in front of people, getting all the nervousness out of me as a little kid. I started walking across the stage and singing, you know, pointing at people and smiling at people at the age of like 9, 10, you know, just controlling that stage and understanding, okay, I'm here for a purpose, even at that early age. So that's gospel. But when it came to the military, I actually joined the military because I couldn't live in my house. I had to get out. Uh, that's a story to tell in itself, and I'll probably write a book later, you know.
Mm.
But I had to go. I had nowhere else to go. My family supported me, you know, my uncles and aunts, but no one really knew everything that was going on behind closed doors, you know. So I had to leave. I had to get out of there and go to the military, the Navy. Went to boot camp. I guess they found out I could sing, so I was doing cadence in boot camp
Wow.
as we marched all over the base. And it went a little something like this. You're right to live, live, you're right to live, yeah. You live, you're right, you're right, you're right to live. You live, keep it and stay, yeah. You live, you're right, you're right, you're right to live. So it's like, I did that, but of course, in a higher range, I was getting it, you know? And I had to do that the whole time I was at boot camp. And then a lot of people started singing in my first command that I could sing. So I started singing at retirements, the national anthem at different
Mm.
retirements. I had a little group back then, you know, when I was on the ship. And then I came back here for a year and did the reserves, right? At the Lambert Airport. Uh, and Navy and Marine Corps reserve base. That's what it used to be called. And they had me doing, we would muster 1 weekend out of a month. And they had me open up the whole thing by standing in the auditorium and singing the anthem while they were in ranks, you know. That opened up doors for me to sing at different retirements and change of commands out of town, and met admirals and captains asked me to come, and I did that. And then there was Jack Book, right? Had an opportunity to meet him a few times. God rest his soul. He had an awards banquet for the athletes. You remember that, athletes here, Missouri Athletic Club.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did that. And Georgia Frontier, who was the owner of the Rams at the time, asked me to
had her big,
come
probably
to
had
her
her big
table.
fur, her big like bow or big fur coat on or something like
Yeah,
that.
she was something else. Yeah. She was very nice and down to earth, though. So she hearkened to me. I said, hearken to me, because she sent somebody to come get me over to her table, and it was just like, hey, you were great. I said, thank you, ma'am. And she said, how would you like to sing for the Rams? This was 1998. And I said, oh, I would love it. And she reached over to her assistant. I think it was Keely Fimbers at the time. And she said, put them on for Sunday. This was Friday. When and I my eyes got big. I said, really? She was like, you can't do it, son? I said, no, man, I'm there. I can do it. So that day I started doing the anthem for the Rams. I did it twice that year during the regular season. And that made me popular around St. Louis. The Steamers, the Blues, the Cardinals, and I started doing them. And then a young lady by the name of Toni Braxton could not make it to the Monday night game. She canceled on them at the last minute. And they called me, and I went there thinking normal things. I couldn't do a sound check because it was too late. I think I had an hour and a half to get there. I got there. Within, I think I had like 20 minutes left before I had to belt it out, let it go. Got off the field, got to my phone, and my phone was just exploding. And that's because at that time I had my own music out, you know, so I sang iTunes. It was just coming. I was like, what is going on? And she says, oh, we forgot to tell you. Keely says, oh, we forgot to tell you. It was nationally televised. And I said, what? So that's how I broadened it and went all across the United States. People start grabbing me. I never reach out to anyone. Thank God I don't have to. I never reach out to people and say, hey, is it okay if do you have room for me? You know, they all reach out to me, and I put them on my schedule, let them know what's needed, and we roll. That's how it goes.
Do you by any chance, this is more personal curiosity for me, do you remember the date or who the Rams played that day?
I do not. You talking about for Monday night or 98?
The 98 one.
No, I cannot remember.
The only reason why I ask, it's just funny personally. I've known you a long time. Lost touch with you for a bit, would see you from a distance, finally bumped into you at a Royals game, and I came running down to find you, and we connected again. But the reason why I ask is my first day working in St. Louis, I'm a kid. My third job in television, my first day working at Kansas City at Fox 2 in St. Louis was September 28th. And I'm gonna have to look this up a little bit, but it was September. I knew it was the last Monday of the month of September 1998. And the reason why I remember it was that I went with my good friend Martin Kilcoyne. You've met Martin many times.
Yeah, Martin's my buddy. Yeah.
Still at Fox 2 to this day. And I was starting on September 28th as a reporter on Monday. And so I tagged along with him that day and went to the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. I remember Tony Banks starting at quarterback. They lost 20-17. And then we went over to Busch Stadium afterwards, old Busch Stadium, because the baseball season was ending, and that was the end of Mark McGwire's big 70 home run season. And then that Monday was my first day. And I probably covered every home Rams game from what would have been well, I'm looking at the schedule now. They had a bye, then 2 road games, and then they were against San Francisco at the Dome, and I covered every one of those games. And of course, we all know that the next year, 1999, after going 4-12, so I covered part of that season, they go to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk and Dick Vermeil and on, and it was truly magical. And I, somewhere there, I was first exposed to your anthem, and then of course heard it over and over and over again. And so I was just curious. Our timelines sort of starting, at least being
on
at
the same time
professionally, different roles obviously, were around the same time. And now you look at it all these years later. I mean, that was a lifetime ago. We're talking 25 years ago now at this point. And if I'm seeing all the facts correctly, you've sung the anthem and God Bless America at over like 1,000 major sporting events. There's no way you could have ever thought of that the day that Georgia Frontieri said something to you, right?
Right. You are totally right. And by the way, I know it's been 25, 26 years ago, but we look the same. So it's all good.
Completely the same. Yeah. I wish people could see the eye roll there. Hey, you're a grandfather now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing. It's a good ride. People are like, "You're never going to stop, right?" And I'm like, "I don't know." You're my good friend and my big brother, Charles Glenn. I don't know if you remember him.
Charles Glenn.
Yeah, he's the voice of the blues, man. I talked to him when he retired. I was like, man, he was like, but gee, you got a lot left in you, brother. Keep going. And I'm like, I'm going to keep going. I am mid 50s, so I will still go. But the thing is, I don't want to disrespect the uniform. You know what I mean? I'm only going to sing our national anthem and God Bless America in my uniform. That's my thing. They don't even have to ask me, are you bringing your uniform? I'm going to bring it. However, I don't want to be old and elderly walking in my Navy uniform and trying to sing it. So I got to cut it off at a certain time. It is no time soon, but I got 5 more years for the VA and I retire again. So maybe a few years after that, I'll stop,
It's interesting too, like just from a sports standpoint, I'm sure that you want to kind of root for whatever team you're singing at because they've brought you in and you meet people and everybody wants to talk to you. So it becomes family. I mean, it's still like people don't even think about football in St. Louis anymore. I mean, those that are there still do. And I hear a lot of St. Louisans now that have adopted the Chiefs because it's the closest team. And hey, why wouldn't you want to be involved in something that has Patrick Mahomes and throw in some Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and all those championships? And they have truly become the gold standard for championship teams in all of sports and in every sport. They're now the Patriots. And it's been incredible to be here just as a fan, and as a Kansas City, and I've lived here for 17 years, but you've sort of adopted them, haven't you?
I definitely have. And it's not, okay, I'll go ahead and say it. I was a Rams fan, diehard. Everybody that knew me know I was a Rams fan.
Well, you're a St. Louis guy.
When they left St. Louis, I was still a Rams fan for a few weeks. But when they left St. Louis, and if they're out there and they're listening, they already know this, so I'm not saying anything behind their backs. When they left St. Louis, they left me, right? And what I say by that is they left St. Louis. I was okay with it, but they never reached out to me, and that kind of hit me, like I gave you all those years, to sing for you. You would think even the person that like Keely Fimbers was like, are you kidding me? They haven't talked to you yet. It's a new person. Here's their email. So I sent an email twice, nothing. It's like, wow. And you see me singing everywhere else, but you still won't reach out. So I kind of laughed in their face. I had to sing for the Chargers. So I still got there. I sung for the Chargers 3 times already. So I've been to the dome. I've been to your little dome.
So they know you. They know you here in Kansas City.
Yeah, and that's what did it. Kansas City was my AFC team anyway. So I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna make them my overall team for now. And it was nice Rams, but I gotta go. And ever since that year they left, I've been a Chiefs fan since, like, everybody knows I'm a bragger, so I brag even when they lose, I'm like, hey, come on, man. You seen how Mahomes did, though. Look at his numbers. He still, so I still, and I love the fans. Oh my goodness, the fans. And I have to say, the fans, and this is NFC side, so it's okay. The fans at the Chiefs are just uh, as radical as they say the Eagles are. I don't know if you've been to both
Yeah.
stadiums,
Yeah.
but the Eagles are radical as well. But the Chiefs, whoo, just gotta love it,
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
it is it is an atmosphere over there. I usually go to 1 or 2 games a year, and it's just
oh yeah.
so much fun. It is
And they
it is
always
an
ask me to
experience.
come in December. Am I the only anthem singer that can sing in the blizzard? Like,
You're the only one that'll say yes, I guess. You didn't have to worry about that in the Dome of St. Louis. But by the
right?
way, before I get to my baseball theme questions, again, not being a musician myself, but although being the son of a music major and former music teacher, my mom was studied music, taught music, and so that's as close as I get. I got a performing daughter, but it certainly skipped me. By the way, well, I'll tell you that story in a moment. I'm glad we don't have tape of it, but singing in the cold. I just know, like in my early years of television, before getting to the Dome, and I'd cover games at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, or I would cover college football games at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. And when you're trying to report and talk into a microphone and your mouth is frozen, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
what do you do? Or do you stay warm as long as you can? I don't know. How do you do that?
Well, I'm on the sidelines, shadow boxing, um, dancing to the music. The fans love it. They're like, they see me just out there acting a plum fool, and just moving around. They give me little hand warmers. I put them in my shoes. I put them in my gloves. I have a Scully on instead of my white hat. And I'm just moving around. Now, when I get on that stage that they have me sing, I have to take the gloves off and the hand warmers aren't there. But, with me talking to people, I'm still moving my vocal cords and, things like that. So I don't have a problem singing in the cold. I've sung in the rain, sung in the cold, under 0 degrees there. Um, it's just that don't like one year, I think I was out early and they realized, oh Lord, he's out here early. I think I was out like 45 minutes before I was supposed to sing, and they made a mistake, but they couldn't take me back in. So I had to stand out there and just jog it out. But boy, when I got back in, I stayed in that green room for a while. I think in the middle of second quarter, I had to unthaw, but I still was able to do it. And I think the military, dealing with the military, that kind of helps me when it comes to weather, like, because we dealt with that. We went past the North Pole and all of that stuff. So, I think that helped a lot.
My first year in Kansas City, it's '08, and they were trying to, introduce me. Nobody knew who I was here. And, now having been here 17 years, fans are familiar. If they're not, that's fine too. But, I was brand new and having to fight the stigma of being a St. Louis guy, even though I was never a St. Louisan, but, I lived there 9.5 years. My kids were born there. It's a big part of our history, but this was not the St. Louis kid coming to Kansas City. That's always weird. And so, I'm trying to prove myself to everybody. And they ask me if I will sing. They were doing guest singers, take me out to the ball game. So I'm sure I'll do it. And I'm as nervous as can be. And bless my mom's heart, because she always thought that I could have something kind of a singing career. But I never went into choir or anything like that. I think I would have been okay, but I had no training or anything. And all I thought in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game was, I don't want my voice to crack, and I got this low voice, so I went as low as I could and take me. And it was the worst thing that you have ever heard. And if the recordings exist out there, I remember like even saying them to our play-by-play guy at the time, like, can you not give me any more crap about this? That was really, really embarrassing. Like I did not want to do this.
That's
So that was it. That
when
was
you
the
get
end of
the
my singing career.
audience. You get the audience to do it.
Now I know, just sing a couple of notes and get the heck out of the way. I'm not looking to do it anymore. I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. Okay, let's get to the baseball themed questions in your long career, whether that be with the Navy, whether that be getting on the fields, and singing. What's the biggest home run that you've hit?
Me hit?
Yeah,
You saying me?
like the biggest moment you've had.
It's not me singing. That's the crazy thing. That's not the biggest moment. The biggest moment for me is meeting people. The people that I meet. I may not look like I'm in awe, but I'm in awe of the people that I have the opportunity to meet. Like just like the young lady that I met I told you about her, just to see her eyes, like, oh my, that's you. Like that's amazing to me, to where I can kind of give them, there are superstars and big people that I have met. And the crazy thing is, most of them, I would say 80% of them, I don't ask to take the picture. They ask me after I'm done. So of course that makes it, like President Clinton. I did the Formula One. He had Stevie Wonder, Jay Leno. Those are the names that just MC Hammer. It's just like I can go on and on. I got
Amazing
pictures.
stuff.
I got a wall of fame, but it's like there after I sing and I come on the sideline, or I go to the big show. I was on the sideline and he's like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" I'm like, "Really?" Yeah, of course. Of course, he's pretty big. He had his whole hand over my shoulder, but just to meet those people and then meet people in the audience, man. If you see some of the pictures on social media or pictures that I didn't do, they're in clips and newspapers and stuff like that, where I'm shaking hands with people, where I'm fist pumping people. Those are my big moments for real, because my desire is to touch someone, whether it be through my presence, whether it be through my conversation with them, or through song. I mean, like that is really my heart's desire, is to just, and my wife is like, you just you just love everybody. I'm like, but I love it. And she's an introvert. So she's like, I'll be like, come over here. She's like, I'm good, right? It's like, but I'm meeting these different people, and that just brightens up my day. Those are my biggest moments. Like, rather than just, you can name a whole bunch of, World Series, NCAA basketball, NFL, NFC Championship, AFC Championship. You can name all of those. That's cool.
Yeah.
But those are, it doesn't. I mean, it's good to sing there, and it's a blessing to reach so many people, but to have that contact, that personal contact with different people. Like when I'm done singing, I would be walking down the sideline to get back to the tunnel, and people reaching their hands out. Man, that's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. And I get the opportunity to say, God bless you. Bless you, man. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful.
That's it for me.
Yeah. Okay. That's so profound. I love every bit of that. How about along the way, a swing and a miss, something that you got wrong?
Something that I got wrong. Not just, you mean overall?
Yeah, I mean, just something you learned from, something that helped shape you, something that made you better.
Unforgiveness. Yeah, unforgiveness is probably something that, because my biological dad was I was that kid that was on the steps waiting on his dad to come, and he never came. That was me on numerous occasions. But when he was in and out of jail, he was a murderer. He was a pimp. He was a dope dealer. He was all of that, right? So, but I still wanted to see my dad. He was my biological dad, but he never came. My mom divorced him when I was 3, you know? So, but on his deathbed, one of my sisters through him let me know that he was in there. I went to go see him, and he woke up, and the nurse was like, "Oh, this is the first time he woke up," and he just said, "Oh, my son," you know, and he couldn't stop smiling. He couldn't talk that much, but and he said, "Man, I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, you good? You good?" So that moment right there, it's like within a minute, I forgave him for all of that stuff he did before, you know? So now I am I guess, the second oldest of maybe 11 for him. And I'm the only one, I was the only one through marriage. However, I invested in his funeral and everything like that. Me and my oldest brother was the one that kind of took care of everything so that it wouldn't be a burden on our younger siblings, you know. But you would think I wouldn't do that, you know, like he was never there for me. So that in itself, it was a hit and a miss when I say that is unforgiveness, because all of those years, you know, I just didn't want to deal with him. You know, I badmouthed him, you know, like he ain't nobody, he's no, you know, I did all of that, but then realized, man, do you know, if I could have just sat down with him, you know, and got a little closer to him as he got older, you know, because all that stuff he did was well before he got older, you know. But when he got older, you know, you become stationary when you get older. You can't move as much as you used to, you know. So I could have talked to him, and we could have had a better father-son relationship, I believe. So from that point on, I can't, for some reason, I just can't hold a grudge. If you do me wrong, I'm still gonna love you. If you talk about me, I'm still gonna love you. If you you know, scandalize my name, like just G is this, just lying, I may confront you and say, hey, you can't do that, but I'm still gonna love you. I'll see you in the street and be like, hey, what's up, man? I'm not gonna, it's because life is too short,
Well,
you know?
that's a beautiful lesson learned from a difficult situation, right? If
Yeah.
that's the legacy that was formed or passed on, intentionally or
Hmm.
not, from your father, that if he had been absent for so long and you know, fell short of the expectations, the hopes that you had as a young boy, to have him leave you with that lesson has shaped the rest of your life. So
That's
that's
good
really a
stuff.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's good.
The last baseball themed question is small ball, the little things. You know, you do a lot of football and baseball for that matter, and you know, I suppose in football, small ball would be like the line play, and I would say small ball is like what doesn't show up in the box score, or what we don't keep track of. And so, you know, in baseball, it's the bunts and the good defense and the base running and all that. What are the little things? And maybe you've touched on it with people and all of that. What are the little things that add up to big results for you? What are the little things that matter?
Uh, uh, I guess the little things would be not the way people perceive me, but the way that I treat people. Uh, Even though I don't think about how, I guess my personality is, people would say that we go back to the, you know, you forgive a lot of people quickly. Small things is my relationships with different people. I don't really have friends. You know what I mean? Like me and my wife is just it. Like that's my best friend, right? So if I'm going through something, it's just me and her. We have our daily devotion, you know, where we like read something or look at a video together that's about marriage, or that's about we just did one about uh just the different candidates, you know. Just that intimacy time that we have to discuss different things is very important when it comes to marriage. So I don't have a lot of friends, but I do have, well, we do have best friend couple, one best friend couple, you know, and they're so dear to us. It's the Horns, Damon and Lori Horn, and we love them. We fellowship with them, but other than them, everyone else, they're close to friends.
Yeah, they're connections.
Because I always love on them and they love on me when I see them, but we don't hang out. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess the little thing would be just treating everybody right, just loving on everybody, regardless of their, you know, their beliefs. Because believe it or not, I don't have a gavel. I can't judge you for what you do. I'm not perfect. I can't judge you for what you believe, but what I can control is my love for you, or my passion for loving you. So I gotta love everybody, man, and just keep moving on. And what that does is when you love people, or you give whatever you give, you get a lot of that back, much more. It's just like reciprocate when you giving your money, you're giving money and from your heart. God is, in the Christian side of things, God is going to bless you, good measure, pressed down, running over, you know. And that's not just with money, that's with whatever you give, like I said, love, your time, and different things like that. So I firmly believe that scripture, you know, you give and it would come back to you, good measure, pressed down and running over, you know. So I think that's a small thing to some people, just loving on people, but it becomes big when it comes back to you.
Yeah, I love every bit of that. And
Look,
it is,
all I can say is try it, because a lot of people ain't trying it.
no,
You know, just
it is
try it and watch
golden.
what I see.
Yeah,
Watch
it is
what you see.
golden rule
Yeah.
material. No doubt about it. All right, we always wrap things up with 4 quick final questions. They don't have to be rapid fire, but they can be. First one, along the same lines that we see in a lot of your social media taglines, we see the words "love y'all to life." That, if that is not Generald Wilson, I don't know what is. Tell me about that. It's, I think, a little bit more of a continuation of this conversation.
Well, yeah, love y'all to life. You know that. You know what the normal thing is? Love you to death. I don't want to love you till you're dead. I don't want to love you and then you die. I don't want that. So I think the tongue is very powerful. That's just me. I think even though it's a cliche and people, oh, that's just a cliche, I still think if I can change that. I got another friend that does that, Reggie Reg. He's a comedian, a bishop of comedy is what they call him. And we've been saying it for years. Love you to life, bro. Like, love you to life. I want you to live. I want you to continue living, you know, and have long life. So I'm gonna love you, and you know, for the longevity of your life.
That's beautiful, inspirational. Now I'll
That's
go a
funny
little bit.
that's funny that you caught that. That's cool.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. All right, I'll go a little bit less serious on this one. Second question. I know you never had these dreams because they weren't really even making them back in the day, but is there a Generald Wilson bobblehead?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Isn't that amazing, brother?
Yeah.
That is so amazing, bro. Like, when they reached out, National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum out of Wisconsin created a bobblehead for me the end of last year, which made my 25th year. And they made 2,023 of them, right? And limited edition. So when I say that, people laugh, and I'm saying, no, it's a limited edition. They're not making any more after that. So if you go to National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum, you'll see it there. Just type my name in the search and it'll come up. This bobblehead is a little different. You push a button and it sings my rendition of the national anthem. And it's me in my Navy uniform with the white hat, microphone in hand. I love it. Everyone, we got some more coming out now. I had a hiccup there for a minute because I was getting calls of, I think I missed it. And I'm like, missed what? And they're like, the bobblehead says sold out. And I looked online, and sure enough, I was out of town. I think I was in up north somewhere, and I looked it up in Seattle. I think I was in Seattle, Washington. And sure enough, it said sold out. So of course, I got to call and say, hey, y'all sold out of 2023 bobbleheads? And they said, oh, no. We sold out the first batch. So they had a batch of, I want to say 600 or something like that. They had a batch of them that they got made, and they sold out of those, and they were putting in a new order. And then when they put it back on, it was going to be pre-sales again. And they've already done that. So it's up now for people that want to order it. But I was like, oh, I told them, I said, oh, so you didn't trust me enough to just do 2023 of them. And they just laughed. I said, I understand. So they did the first batch is sold out. So I had to reach out and do a social media blast and let people know, hey, it's still there. When you order it, it's going to be pre-sales again to be delivered in December until those are sold out, and then they're going to do another batch. So that's cool.
All right, everybody can find out information about that. By the way, if anybody wants to anything regarding General, just go to all of his social media. If you just search on Twitter or X or Instagram or Facebook for General Wilson,
yep,
spelling is
General with the D on the end.
General with a D on the end. By the way, how'd that name come about?
Say again.
How were you named General?
Do you really want to know?
I don't know.
So the way my mom told,
it's just you. It's you. There's no other one.
There is another General. I found him on Facebook, so we're friends on Facebook. Yeah, and he's a preacher, so that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So my mom tell the story that my dad wanted to call me General Wilson, my biological dad, and that's because he joined the military, the Army, and he went AWOL, right? Of course. So he went AWOL. They caught him, came back, and this general was like a mentor to him and telling him, hey, you got to stop this guy. And he really trusted this general and honored or respected, let me put it that way, respected this general. However, he still was messed up. So he went AWOL again. And when I was born, he told my mom, like, I want him to be General. I want his first name to be General, named after this guy that I really respect. And my mom said, no, you're not. You're not calling my baby General. But she loved him so much that she kept General. She added a D and said his name is going to be Generald, not General, Generald. So in a way, it's cool. People say, oh, that is so unique. Yeah, but it was very difficult as a child to try to remember.
Sure it was.
Yeah, how to spell it, and then try to correct people, because you have people. I don't correct people, unless I have to. Like, there's stadiums that they get it right when they say, "I need to go over this with you." Okay, you got this. But then now singing our national anthem, Navy Petty Officer, First Class General Wilson, and I'm like,
yeah,
I got that little smirk on my face, and I'll start, but it's like. And sometimes it's nationally televised. So it's kind of funny. I'll get these text messages of people like,
what's up,
he
General?
has no clue what your name is. Your name is going to be a household name one day. It's like, but it's okay.
Right. I always wondered about that. To me, just always been General. I guess G obviously works well too.
Yeah.
Two more quick ones. The third one, well, I don't know if there's anything quick about this. And I want to end on a musical note, so to speak. So number 3, which would probably usually be my last question, is but number 3 on this Veterans Day or past it, what does not just your service, and of course thank you for your service, but the service of so many in the history of our country, what does it mean to you?
It's very, very important, man. I don't know what my life would be like if I was in another country. I don't know how I would be living. I don't know like even, and I can go back as far as even here in the United States, like like I told my wife, I don't know if I could have lived in the 30s. You know, like I would have had to, but I don't know if I would have. And you're thinking all of these different things of the olden days of how the United States was. We weren't really good. We weren't good to people, our people for sure. And then you think about in another country how they live, and you're like, oh. But the reason why we're where we're at now is because we have veterans. Uh, even our forces like police and different things like that, they're fighting for our freedoms. They're fighting for us to do uh, uh, to get to the next level. Let me put it that way, because we're not most definitely not where we should be, but again, we're not where we used to be, and that's a blessing. But we still got a ways to go. And I think with the military and these guys risking their lives, the families, let me tell you, the families should get as much uh, recognition as the actual veterans, because they have to deal with everything back here while their spouses and their dads, their moms are overseas, fighting for the country. Some of them have lost their parents, some of them have lost their spouses, and they have to deal with that. So they sacrifice their family and say, "Yeah, babe, go ahead, fight for our country." That's big, because some people are selfish and just like, "No, I need you to stay here. I just want you to be here. Let them fight." But they a lot, they say, "I got you. I got everything handled back here at home. Please be safe." So the veterans go out, man, and they active duty, those that have retired, those that are in the reserves right now, National Guard, they're actually fighting for us to get to that next level, and Veterans Day, that's what I think about. That's what I appreciate. I don't even think about me, even though I was one of them. There are so many people that are out there that that's veterans that do a lot more than what I did. And I'm sure they say the same thing as far as going on the ground, you know, in the air. I was at sea. So, but, that's commendable.
Yeah.
To all of the different veterans that are out there, male, female. I love them so much. It's not just Veterans Day though. That's why I love Lowe's, and I love. I think I forget what the restaurant is. They have their own, veterans parking spaces. I love that. They're not taking that away, and that's
365.
because they're showing us that they love us. And that's
Well,
what I got to say about that Veterans Day.
Having never served, but being fortunate enough to be around so many active duty and retired veterans, just with the presence at sports or the access or some of the visits is always such a great honor for me, just to be able, and you go thank everybody and shake their hands, and they want to thank us for entertaining them on TV, and it's like, no, you guys are the real heroes. But as they often say to me, we're not the heroes. Our spouses are the heroes. Our families are the heroes. This is what we signed up for. But whatever it is, it truly is the most amazing thing a man or a woman can do. And so certainly thank you, but thank you for representing everybody else and for sharing all of these powerful and poignant and inspirational messages today. So I want to wrap it up with my walk-off. I'm going to say goodbye now, because I think we should just end it with you. I'm not afraid of putting you on the spot. I told you my favorite part of the anthem, when you hit that high note there, the whatever that is. Would you take us out with just like the second half of the anthem there? Was that cool?
So that part where I go up.
Yeah, where you go up and then hold that, the one that I didn't show in the recording. I'll let you end it with that.
Before I do that, though, I gotta tell you, because I want you to understand where we're coming. Not just you, but everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a calling. We all have a purpose, right? And I think, yes, veterans, we go out and we do what we have to do, and because that's what we feel like our purpose was and our calling. But what would we do without a Joel? What would we do without Martin? What would we do without just the different small as the ushers? If you think that's small,
Anybody.
the ushers at the stadiums, they're called to be there. They're called the teams, the people that play sports. They're called, and it makes a whole big community of people that actually make up this whole world. I'm not just going to say the United States. So we all have a purpose. So I don't want you to think, I know it's Veterans Day and we want to recognize our veterans and we want to say, well, they're the ones that molded and fought for our freedoms. However, those people that were left behind while we were fighting kept it going.
Yeah. Well
You get
said.
what I'm saying?
It's
That makes sense?
It's all of us.
Yeah. Yes, it's all of us. We all we got. Right? Okay.
It has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been an honor. I can't wait to hear you sing again soon, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring. You know, when you get those handshakes, those high fives, those selfies and all that, it's because they've been moved and they're inspired. So I will let you have the final word, or in this case, the final notes, I guess I would say.
Okay. I'll start from back here some because I'm very loud.
and by the way, Generald Wilson has been my guest. Thank you very much for appearing on Rounding the Bases.
We love you, man.
Love you back.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Put him on the spot. Generald Wilson. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Generald.
Appreciate you guys.
Joel Goldberg. It's around the bases. Everybody knows Joel Goldberg.